Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about some upcoming days of severe weather. We have two of those coming up. Now, we also have another one after that I talked about yesterday. We think that this upcoming Monday could also be a severe weather day. The Storm Prediction Center has now indicated that as well. We also have multiple large storms to talk about, including snowstorms in the central and eastern and western United States, basically the entire United States. That's all coming up in just a moment. Anyways, before I get into this video, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. For today's comment of the day, I want to know, do you think that any of these upcoming 3 days will go beyond a slight risk? Do you think we will get an enhanced risk or more on any of these 3 upcoming severe weather days? That is Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's get straight into this video, and first things first, we're taking a look at our current radar imagery. And as you can see, we have plenty going on in the west and not a lot going on in the east. So we're going to be primarily focusing in here on the west on the radar segment of this video. And then for the model guidance portion, we're going to be taking a look at everywhere from west coast to east coast. From the south to the north, we're going to just cover every single corner basically. Now, we always start with the northwest for some reason, but I feel like that doesn't really make sense in this case. I feel like it makes more sense to start here, which feels a little wrong, but we're going to do it anyway. We see a flow of precipitation in through New Mexico and Arizona. This is very untypical, I would say. There's a few untypical things happening here that we'll go over, but there is some precipitation happening throughout this region. So definitely worth noting. Even heavy for this region in here. So that is definitely worth noting there. Now, Southern California. We've had some pretty significant thunderstorms moving onshore. As far south as Tijuana, all the way northwards up through north of even Los Angeles there. Then we're seeing snowfall here for these mountainous regions here just near Los Angeles. So it's crazy how extreme the elevation differences are here. We can see a lot of those thunderstorms took place right in this pocket here. You'll see the lightning showing up there, especially near that town called Oceanside and southward towards Tijuana. We were having lots of lightning showing up. I didn't see any of those pop up for Los Angeles. That would have been a sight to see for sure. But definitely south of there, we were seeing some of that activity. So, yeah, really bad storminess there in Southern California. As we head northward here, we can see here in the valley, we have a lot of precipitation making its way in. Especially the further south you go, the more intense that precipitation is, as you can see. Now, the flow is interesting because here we're getting more of a flow that's bringing these showers kind of offshore. But here we're seeing more of a flow that's bringing them onshore. So you can tell there's definitely some very intense counterclockwise motion here going on with this storminess, which is very, very interesting. It's more centered here, as you can see. So it's more like this. Because that low, I'm assuming, is somewhere like here. And it's drawing in closer and closer to the Southern California coast. This area is kind of moving southward, actually, towards the low. And as we head further north, there is some lingering showers here, hanging out here, but those have really dissipated over the last, I would say, few hours. We do have some showers starting to pop up here for Washington and Oregon, especially here offshore. Those will eventually be heading towards Oregon there, so that's definitely worth noting. And then we have some snowfall up here for the north central United States, basically from Idaho and Montana all the way through into North Dakota and Minnesota there. We've been dealing with some snowfall, especially here in Montana and then here in North Dakota and Minnesota. We've had quite a bit of that snowfall taking place here. Now, let me see if there's anywhere else where there is any precipitation. I guess we have had some snow showers there in this region, kind of. Very, very sporadic, though. Let's see. No, that's going to be about it. So let me zoom out here. What we're going to do is we're going to move on. We're going to take a look at that model guidance because a lot of this storminess that is in this region, let me circle it here, is going to move towards the central United States. This is what we're going to see happen over the next 2 days. And then we're going to see 2 days of severe weather, one up here, then one down here, and then, okay, so let me put that in there again. There, and then here, and then now we expect one down here for day 3. So it'll start out in the northern United States. I don't know if these circles are perfect. Then here, then more of the Gulf states the day after. So 3 days of severe weather coming up. We need to talk about that, as well as many upcoming other storms that are also looking very major as well. All right, now here's our European model, and we're just going to move through with this just a tiny bit because this storm really moves in and really starts to impact these regions more. Again, this was about here, and it mostly comes up here, although we can see some low pressure transferring here. What's going to happen is this one's going to move further northward, and then we're going to see the severe weather underneath it. There's a lot going on. It's kind of confusing, but that's what we see happen. There it transfers. We see the low is mostly here, cold front lingering underneath, warm front here. And we mostly see the severe weather take place here in this warm sector here, and even further westward than there. So about this frame, a lot of this, I think, is the severe weather here on Saturday. So that is worth noting. We have a lot of snowfall here for the west going on. That's also definitely worth noting. We have some freezing rain and some snowfall going on here near this low pressure system, which is a 995, which isn't too shabby for a low pressure system, I will say. Again, that's kind of the setup here. Then we see this one really move up as a 992 here, so it's racing out. There we see plenty of precipitation here, stretching from the Gulf states all the way up to the northeast. But this is where we see a lot of this day 2 severe weather try to take place. So let's move on with this. See right there, that's definitely a lot of that severe weather taking place in there. We do see some snowfall developing here. This is like storm number 2. We do see another low pressure system developing right here. Cold front really lingering back on this one. Warm front's about there. It's going to be really warm over the course of the weekend, although this is by time of reaching Monday morning. And what we see happen here is by Monday afternoon, we see a lot of this precipitation in here. That is our day 3 severe weather. And then also, we have a major snowstorm going on up here as well. I want to see how that progresses also. Yeah, so very major snowstorm that moves through, especially when we're considering the time of year. That is also super interesting. Then by the time we're reaching about, so that was over the course of Saturday, Sunday, Monday there. Now, Tuesday, we start to get this next storm developing for the eastern United States. That one will be a bit of a nor'easter. We also have another storm moving into the northwest. A lot of snowfall and rainfall up there. And then as things progress, we see this low pressure system move up the coast, kind of lingering with some fronts going on, and that just brings a ton of precipitation to this region. We see this storm dip down right here, and this brings a lot of snowfall to these regions and there. And we see that how this progresses is it kind of dips down, and now it's trying to move into the eastern United States. You can see it really causes the jet stream to dip about like that. We have a low pressure system here, cold front lingering around the jet stream. Very interesting setup. So we have a low here, and really the jet stream is about like this. But this one is really pulling the jet stream, so let's see what happens. Yeah, so we get this one very close to the coast here. There is a couple lows here along the eastern United States. Really the primary low is up here, but this one is also very dominant. And then this is kind of just a weaker area of low pressure. We do see a lot of snowfall here on the western end, as you can see. A lot. And then we see a lot of just raininess here along the southeast. And if I'm not mistaken, this is around the time where we do expect some potential severe weather in the southeast, which really... yeah, there you go. Okay, so we do get some convective available potential energy moving up into this region, which this area hasn't seen a lot of thunderstorms yet. At least I know north of this line. South of here, I'm unsure, and then definitely down here, I know they get thunderstorms like once a week, so even in January. So you guys have probably seen your first thunderstorms, but we see this convective available potential energy move all the way up into these regions, which means thunderstorms will be possible, if not likely, with this precipitation in the southeast, moving up into close to 700, I would say, Cape, which will be plenty for getting first thunderstorms, which would be very, very interesting for a lot of these regions. And here, like I mentioned. All right, let's move back to that precipitation type. We might have moved too far there. Let's move back to about here. Here we go. Yeah, so that very strong low pressure system moves up and out. We get a lot of snowfall lingering behind here. Even, I mean, cold enough to snow in these regions. Some snow showers, maybe some late season snowfall showers for a lot of regions. This trough would be absolutely gargantuan. I mean, there's so much cold air entering down into the east or into the United States, better yet, but especially the eastern United States, that there's very cold air over the northwest and deep into the eastern United States, which just means there is so much cold air available for this that there's plenty to go around for everybody. Because in most cases, if you've stuck with us through a lot of our videos over the wintertime, we've talked about how there's usually not enough cold air to be over the west and the east, so usually you see a ridge over one and a trough over the other. Because when the cold air moves to one, that means the ridge can really build into the next because there's not enough cold air to really keep that ridge down on, in this case, the western end. But it does in this case. I mean, I would say halfway up the coast is still over a majority cold air. So very, very interesting situation. And I would be curious here, let's see what the temperature anomalies look like here. Yeah, so this would be absolutely, I mean, this would probably be one of the bigger cooldowns of the entire year, if not the biggest, and it could be historic for the month of March. I would have to check that out. But right now what this model is calling for is below average temperatures, slightly below average temperatures out west. And then in the blues, we're looking at about 1 to 8 degrees below normal, whatever your typical temperature is. So this is about the morning hour, so think of what your typical morning looks like. Right now in Virginia, it's about 40 degrees. I would say that's about typical for this time of year at 6 a.m. in the morning, which is exactly when this would be on March 13th, and that's going to be a Sunday. So 1 to 8 degrees below that for me, if you're in the blue. Let's see. In the green, you're going to be 10 to 15 degrees below your normal. So that's where I would be. So I would be about... right now I'd be at about 30 to maybe even 25 degrees already just being in the green. Now this blue, this other shade of purplish blue, which you're seeing a lot of here all over the place, that would be 15 to 25 degrees below normal. Okay, so you're moving into crazy territory already, and then we see all sorts of magenta all over the place. The dark magenta is going to be about 25 to 30 degrees below normal, and these bright areas that I'm underlining here, so there's a couple bright areas there that you can see, that is where we're 30 degrees or more below normal. But this model is indicating right here where you can see min. That means that this model is indicating 39.5 degrees below normal is the minimum. So I don't know if it's here or here, but basically somebody is going to be like 40 degrees below normal according to this model. Now we're going to take this with a grain of salt because it is about 10 days out, but it is very significant and very interesting to see this model calling for this because prior to this, we're overall in a warm pattern in the eastern United States. Outside of the next little tiny cool downs or so, we see that cold air mass just really works its way eastward in a very massive way. But before it does, we do see this enter into this region in a very massive way as well. And then it kind of just moves like this. So we'll watch that play out here. This is definitely going to be worth noting. See, there's the flow. We see that massive cool down move into the eastern United States. So like I said, from the northwest to the southeast, every single corner is going to be very impacted by this. And even now, I mean, we're seeing below normal temperatures in the southwest. So everybody's going to be dealing with these very frigid below normal conditions in some shape or form. All right. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at the Storm Prediction Center. We're going to be using Pivotal Weather to take a look at this because it's easier for me to edit because they're all the same size. It's hard to explain, but on the Storm Prediction Center's website, they're kind of like distorted. They're all different sizes and stuff, so it's really hard for me to edit the frame to look right. So we're just going to be using this, which is the same exact thing. They just take the color codes and they put it on their own maps, so it's the same thing. Here is for Saturday, tomorrow, for the time I'm making this video. We can see that in the lighter greens, we have two of these areas here. These are the areas where we have a general thunderstorm risk, which I'm underlining right there. That means that there is general thunderstorms expected to be possible, but nothing really severe. But it could happen, but it's not expected. That's basically what that means. Now we see this darker green region. That is our marginal risk region right here. That means that severe weather, I wouldn't say it's necessarily likely, but they definitely do see the possibility for some isolated severe weather within that darker green region. Now this yellow region is our slight risk region, mostly just Iowa and then northern Missouri, a tiny bit of Wisconsin in there, Minnesota, Illinois, Nebraska, Kansas, a couple of states there have little tiny slivers of it. But this is mostly just a ton of Iowa. And that is our slight risk there, which means scattered severe weather is looking moderately likely within this region. So that is also definitely worth noting there. And I would also say this is a rather large slight risk, which usually when you see a rather large slight risk, that means they're kind of leaving the opportunity to add an enhanced at some point. So that's also worth noting, that I think that there is a possibility on any of these 3 days I'm about to show you that they could add an enhanced risk. Now let's take a look here. This is our damaging wind risk. We have a 5% chance within 25 miles of a given location of damaging wind there within the green, and then a 15% chance there within the yellow. Our hail risk here is the same exact thing. 5% there in the green, 15% chance there in the yellow. Just a little bit larger, I think. Now, our tornado risk is going to be different percentages. We see 2% chance here within the green region within 25 miles of a given location there of seeing a tornado, and then a 5% chance there within 25 miles of a given location there within the brown of seeing tornadoes. Now, also, here is day 3. So this is going to be Sunday, March 6th. This upcoming Sunday, we have a marginal risk there. Again, isolated severe weather possible within the dark green. And then our very large yellow region here is our slight risk area, which is, again, very large, just like the day before. So I do see the opportunity for them to add an enhanced risk in here, just like the day prior, like I mentioned. Now, like I said, they did indicate something about Monday, so here it is. We have a day 4 probability outlook now, which is valid for Monday, March 7th there. And that's going to be probably a slight risk here for this yellow region here in Tennessee, Arkansas, a little tiny bit of the Louisiana there, and then Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia as well. Right there over the Dixie Alley, and this would be a very large slight risk as well. So I think that there's a possibility they could add an enhanced risk for this one as well. We'll know more tomorrow for sure, and every other day as we move closer and closer to this. So be sure to stay tuned with us and check the daily uploads, because we do upload daily, and we're going to be going over these threats until they're completely over with. Anyway, for today's confidence tab, we are at a 4 out of 6. Not even worth noting until we get into something a little bit less or more likely than this. For today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, what month do you think will feature the most severe weather this year? And James Marr said, I believe April will have the most severe weather out of any month this spring. Very, very interesting there. For today's patron, highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons, Bill Crates, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Lure the Pan, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Carnes as well. I would also thank our diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Cuddle, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Bill Dallas, Gary's, and John Khaleesi also. I'd also thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.